Well, 4 o'clock came up on me really quick today. I don't know what happened to my day. I've been working on some of these masks, and yesterday, I guess I was printing at a really low resolution because they were. Let me get it up here so you can see it. They were falling apart on me. So, I think I finally got one that's not going to fall apart. I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it. Got one that won't fall apart on me. No. Oh, there it is. This is the one. I just got done printing this one. This one's not going to fall apart. I'm not going to be able to rip that apart. These are just left over from when it was printing. So I'm printing the big mask piece right now. So let's see if I can tune in to what's going on there. Give me a second. And nope, I want this one. Oh, cancel. Sorry, bringing it up. Oh my, it really filled up the whole page, didn't it? Oh, whoops. I'm gonna lock all these babies, except for the Brave. For some reason, it is. There we go. The printer. Yeah, it's printing the face piece. So, and it's doing it at this higher resolution that I had done these other pieces with, so that maybe it'll be durable. That's been my problem, is they've been falling apart on me. That's what's been my big problem. I've got, I've got all sorts of things screwed up. I've got stuff in the background here. Anyway, I wasn't quite ready to get started today at 4, but because I don't know what happened to my day. One of the reasons why I wanted to start doing these face masks, this is a rigid face mask that has a panel on the front where you can put a filter. And so this piece here goes on the front of the rigid piece, and this goes inside the rigid piece, and in between there is a filter. And I learned some things today about filters. The kind of the propylactine or whatever, the ones that are like the paper masks. You know, the ones like this. They're not actually made out of any kind of cloth. It's actually a plastic-like material. And there was a science guy that I watch quite often, and he was talking. He was looking into seeing how you can sanitize these, and he came up with 3 different ways. One of them was using ozone, which is not unusual, but hard to come by. And then you can just lay them out in the light. The light will, like out in the sun will disinfect them, because the sun will break down all the bacteria and the viruses. But the fastest and most efficient way is alcohol. 70% rubbing alcohol, and you just douse it in it, and you just soak it up, and then just let it air dry. And supposedly, this is a rumor, so that's why I've got my that's why I got my Blue Devil out, because I don't ever know what exactly is the things. So if you put it in rubbing alcohol, you let rubbing alcohol 70%. Now the 90% was interesting. He was talking about doesn't break down the bacteria as well. You can also use Everclear. It's the right percentage of alcohol. But if you have 90% alcohol and you want to tone it down, do 50-50 on let's see, on the vodka, like the cheapest vodka you can find. You can do it 50-50, and that way you can save a little bit on your alcohol if you have vodka sitting around. Rather than drinking it, use it to clean your masks. And I think that will work, that rubbing alcohol solution will work on any materials that are porous. The ozone and the light doesn't necessarily penetrate the whole thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting stuff. It's amazing the things that human beings are capable of disseminating in the grand information age. And so that's what I'm doing. And I noticed someone's on. I can say hi to you directly if you give me a shout out there on a comment. Now, I also wanted to show you that I'm using ABS, which is a plastic to make my printers, to make my pieces. And it's a little finicky, obviously. That's why I have pieces that are falling apart. And let's see here. Let me get this up. Let me see if I can. Oh, that's locked. There we go. So you can kind of see me there. Let's see. I'm going to move myself over. And I'm going to turn my Blue Devil off for a second. And then I'm going to bring up my cell phone so I can talk to you through my cell phone. Where is it? Restream 5K. There it is. Bring it up. There it is. That's my cell phone. And I'll go ahead and take off the Art Print Express logo. But so you can see this is what's behind me. But what I've got in here is the bigger face mask. The bigger face mask. Whoop, that goes on the face mask, or the thing that the other two things pop onto. And it's in a solution, or there's some paper towels in there. It's hard to see, crying out loud. I've got some paper towels down in there, and I've got it on warm, and a crock pot, and I've got a little fan running in there. And as you can see, this is one that I printed that was faulty, because it's got a little crack there on the side. But I think I can fix that with some super glue. Anyway, it will smooth out. It will level out. It will completely level out. Be all nice and smooth. When I get a really good one, I'm going to set it up so that maybe I can cast them. I think it'll be faster. These pieces, I'm going to turn that AirPlay off. And bring my Blue Devil back in. These pieces here that I did that were the thicker, higher resolution pieces, these pieces here, they took over 3 hours just to do these two pieces together. And so if we do, let's see, I put on the Brave again so you can see. Is it on? Nope. See, and I didn't put my green screen behind me because I'm wanting to keep an eye on that the cooker, trying to smooth that piece out. Anyway, so I think that this is going to be kind of cool when I get it done. Let's see. Hi, Michael. How are you? What are you doing for your creativity? I bet you're painting some awesome paintings. So, anybody watching this later, you might want to look up Michael Walsh. He's got some great paintings. Um, and I'm sure he has plenty of time to do those now. I can't remember. Can't remember if you're retired or not. There it is. There's my. I don't know which one this is. I'm going to have to bring it. Okay. There. See, there's my face piece that's printing at higher resolution. So I've got it up on my screen so I can keep an eye on it. I just think that's too cool to watch. It's this machine and my printers at work that I just absolutely love watching because I think it's amazing the things that they can do. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, it's because I didn't take out the background. That's right. I didn't use my green screen today. I don't know. That's my print station in the back. Anyway, I'm a little distracted this afternoon. You're welcome for the plug. I don't know. You might get 2 or 3 people to maybe go look at you. I don't have a very big audience. As you can see, I just don't have that big of audience. There's somebody on YouTube. Somebody from YouTube, say hi to me. Because I don't get YouTube people on here very often. It'd be nice to have some chat on there. Just doing my 4 o'clock. If you're bored, come at 4. Michelle will try to entertain you and discuss things. This is my attempt to get my 22,000 words a day or something that I need. I like interacting with people. Love interacting with artists. Yeah. And I'm starting to get a little bothered with this idea of being not essential. It really is starting to bother me. What value do I have for my government? I mean, why do they care whether or not the government in general? Well, I'm a vote, right? They're going to try to tell me how great my vote, how great they are so that I vote for them. And then I have monetary value, my taxes that I pay, which is just seems completely ridiculous to keep me from being able to create money so you can tax it. But we're doing this for everybody's safety. And for those hospital workers, like the one that I'm making that mask for. I'm going to make one for me too. Might get to that here in a minute. I'm making myself a special one that's for, it's got the long nose like the plague masks. That's just for me. And we'll see how that goes. But, other than that, there's not a third option. And the third thing that I'm really actually of value to my government. It's one of the things that Roe versus Wade, it's a very secular, very government conceived. In the first trimester, government really doesn't have any, state doesn't really have any, too much interest. Lots of babies miscarry in the third, within the first trimester, second trimester, and now the state starts having some interest. That might be a taxpayer. And definitely in the third trimester. Those are taxpayers. Potential taxpayers. And of course, I'm not going to get all into that. But I'm just explaining that that's one of the ways they made their decision on Roe versus Wade. So, the thing is that bothers me the most right now is that, I really tried hard not to go into. I really wanted to go into work. I wanted to continue to do my work. I didn't think that being by myself or having Jennifer, just the two of us in the shop, in the studio, I didn't think I was risking anybody. And then if I had less than 10 people come through during the day, dropping their art off so I could photograph it and do my regular work, I didn't think that was risking anybody. I think going to Dylan's risks people's lives. But of course, that's essential, right? We need food. I have not been to Dylan's since this whole thing started. I did stop into Walgreens twice, briefly. Had some medical kind of supplies to get. I needed some Sudafed, and I needed some vitamins, I think it was. Other than that, I haven't been out. And I might be a little crazy right now because of that. But, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. And so, yeah. And the thing is, I'm noticing that if we're not talking about the narrative, that, free thought. Having a thought of my own or a thought that is not part of the narrative, it gets challenged and threatened, and people get threatened for having opposing views from the mainstream media, mainstream narrative. What happens when the news is no longer free from bias? YouTube, it doesn't matter. All these platforms. What happens when there's no longer free from bias? What happens then? Have we seen this in the past? Are we doomed to? I'm just going to ask some questions here. It's up to you to think about these things. You're welcome to reply too, in the comments. And I really, the thing is, I've gotten to the point I really don't care if somebody agrees with me or not. I will be polite. And if I know that somebody has a opposing viewpoint than I do, then I just probably won't talk about it. And that's called lost the word. Self-monitoring, making sure, it's like being, self-safe. Because everything, if you don't agree with everything, and it could be just one little thing. I could agree with everything else they agree on, except for one thing, and that thing, now I'm the devil, like that blue devil right here, right there. And I've found through this COVID-19 beer bug debacle, I have found that the news is no longer reliable or independent. I don't know, and I no longer find them trustworthy. I mean, they were telling us that it's okay not to wear masks. I mean, they really don't do anything. However, I keep hearing people screaming about the hospitals needing PPE, okay, which is face masks and gloves and whatnot, just to protect them from the coronavirus, because we need them, right? You can't have both. You can't have one side saying, or on one hand saying, masks, they really don't do that much. You don't really need them. To, oh, but the hospitals, they need them. I understand, yeah, the hospitals need them. You can't have both. Both can't be true at the same time. You need to protect yourself. And so, at some point, the news has become an extension of a political party. And all you have to do is watch it enough to know where their bias is. And also, they have a tendency to create fiction as becomes fact. It's amazing to me. At what point does all of this rhetoric become propaganda? Right at the beginning of it. Sorry. We've been fed propaganda for now years. And ever since the 24/7 news cycle, they've had to make up propaganda. They've had to make up news stories. Oh my gosh. The news story about the woman and they're the couple who drank the koi fish pond cleaner. I have no doubt it said on there, not for human consumption. There's more to that story than what the media told us. You know, they created that story to be what it was. There's no way that she just chose to do that. It might even be fiction. She may even be paid by somebody. I put my conspiracy hat on because it just drives me crazy. So here's the thing. How does an average person, okay, who is under constant financial stress by design, they sell you everything. This is consumerism. That's what it is. How's an average person find the time to research and discern fact from fiction? How do we do that? You actually have to stop and take time to do that. And even the fact checking places, they're agended. They don't always tell the truth on there either. Or they cop out and say, well, it's not really truth or false. We don't really know. We don't agree with it, but we're not going to say it's right out. No. I got the windows open because I got the acetone thing going on in here, which goes toward my allergies. Here's some more questions. Do people in general tend to follow the majority mainstream viewpoint? And do they do so because of fear of being isolated or shunned? How many opportunities have you seen people isolated or shunned or doxxed because they didn't follow the mainstream viewpoint? I mean, there's a lot of them, but the big one in my head is the Covington church kids. They went to that Right to Life march and then got approached by the drummer. It didn't take long, it didn't take long for that to be corrected because somebody found the whole incident, not just the edited one. What you're getting here with me is unedited. And what you get on TV is always edited. Even if it's live, that's completely detailed out. You know, and for crying out loud, what the heck did they have on TV now? There's some tiger thing that people are watching. Dylan was trying to tell me about it, and I was like, that sounds stupid. Why would I want to spend my time doing that when I could do things like creative stuff? You know, and that's mainstream. There are memes and stuff being made out of that. The guy doesn't sound, I mean, it is a it is a theater of motley fool is what that is. And do we really need that? How is it that someone thinks it's profitable? Because considering that the human capacity for jackassery is unlimited, and we'll all point and laugh, I suppose. But and it's just this stuff is planned. They don't dump money into stuff like that without it's planned, it's coordinated. And who's making these decisions? And as far as the news goes, do they count on the fact that people who see the suits and people who speak with authority, are they more prone to believe something heard over and over again? From different sources. And why do they want to shut down people who disagree? I mean, I'm right now concerned about saying the wrong thing when I talk about the beer bug. Might as well call it the beer bug. You know what I'm talking about. If it's called something else, like most things are called by their origin, but there is an agenda out there. Somehow, magically, it didn't originate where it originated. And we are supposed to forget. We're just supposed to forget that. We're just supposed to forget that. Something else interfered. And so what we've actually seen right in front of our eyes in the last few months is where the actual virus came from. Okay, and they changed the topic. They changed it to it being racist to talk about that particular subject. And they changed it so that, whatever we can do to completely confuse the situation. And the thing is, there's people putting out one thing and somebody putting out another thing. And I realize that it's kind of chaotic, and so the information is just kind of blowing at you. So the wonderful person that I'm doing the nursing care person I'm doing the mask for, she's getting new memos. So many memos, she's having a hard time keep up with them because they change day to day and no one knows what the hell's going on as far as what the policy is. And do you need 40,000 ventilators when you aren't even using the 2,000 that's sitting in your storage? Yeah, I can see that you're expecting the ramp up. But for crying out loud, it's been announced more than once that the ventilators are coming, the ventilators are coming, the ventilators are coming. Of course, do we really want to believe that? Because that's also another story. And this is really, really, really strange. The whole quinine, the hydroxychloroquine agenda, that it doesn't work, and yet it does work, and it doesn't work. And then there's reports on doctors, using it, and so doctors actually using it as a prophylactic, which means they take it to prevent getting the disease. What? And then there's concern about whether or not the doctors are hoarding it. But wait a minute, it doesn't work. And you can't have both. You can't have both. And why is it that it was after the 2016 election that all of this stuff really started to ramp up? This division. Real, I mean, it's did something not happen that they didn't want to happen? We know what that was. And then are they just struggling to put up with that? I don't know. And is it all coordinated? By whom? What happens? What happens when six corporations own all of our media? Look it up. It's a very small handful. You can count them both on two hands that run this. And Jeff Zucker of CNN has made it clear that he wants it all to be whatever the media is supposed to put out has to go against whatever the POTUS is doing. Project Veritas has it out there. It is his voice recorded. All right. Thanks for coming in, Michael. It's good to see you. Did you notice that all this division really started hard, after the 2016 election? There were violent, masked terror, I'm going to say terror organizations that had a name that didn't sound like that, like they were kind of against that, but acted like that. I'm not going to say the words because you know what I'm talking about. The anti-fa. There we go. And they were like immediately created and funded. That also has been, like they're like wanting to know where their money is. Who's paying them? And then why were we all of a sudden divided into race, sex, gender? Yeah, what was all that about? We just went along with it. Do. Just like right now with the stay at home. Okay, they basically took our right to speak against the mainstream narrative away. They can't do it when we're, one-on-one. So there goes freedom of speech. Now we got the freedom of assembly is being questioned. I mean, this is all very questionable. It's unprecedented. And I'm not saying that it's anything like a hoax at all. I'm saying how far are they going to push? How far are they going to push us? Until we say, oh, no more. Because it seems like they want us divided by religion. They want us divided by sex. They want us divided by political affiliation. They wanted us divided by class. Now, they want us in our houses. It makes you wonder what the heck is going on. Because there's way more going on than what they're telling us on the news. The Horowitz report came out. Did anybody hear anything about it? That was kind of important. Then there's even discussion now that there's going to be an investigation exactly on how this whole coronavirus, I think I can get away with that, how this whole beer bug debacle, how that was handled. Then they're going to, of course, they're going to investigate, and then they're going to, yeah, whatever. Impeach, whatever. And I'm not a great fan. I'm as big a fan of Donald Trump as I was of any other president. From Obama to Bush. Bush bringing in that Patriot Act, I wasn't real happy about. And we're paying for that now. It would be great if we could just figure out how we can continue to have our freedoms again. At least be able to have free speech, discuss things. I think the worst of it is the bad apples, the ones that can't control themselves because they've been taught not to control themselves. Okay, ones that are hateful. Okay, instead of learning how to debate, there are people that just certainly don't know how to debate, don't even know how to think properly. They put themselves in thinking traps where they go round and round and round and round and round and round and catastrophizing. And they don't take, those are the people that have ruined it for other people. But then again, if I had a platform and I had people saying things that I didn't like, I'd let them on as long as it wasn't illegal. When are we going to have a platform like that? That is generally available. In some place that isn't where those people that got kicked off of the other platforms go to congregate. Because those are the people, okay, the people that get kicked off of those other platforms who were doing things that really wasn't nice is not the platforms I want to go to. Wherever they're going, that's not where I want to go. And I wouldn't want to be sending any of my family members over there either. Say, hey, I'm over at such and such. No. And the thing is, they really don't want us to think. And they really want to keep us like livestock. They don't want us to think for ourselves. That's what all this is discussing. So it's a fun day because it's Freedom of Speech Day. So what is the freedom of thought? It's a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truths should be formed on the basis of logic, reason, and empiricism. Can't talk. Rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. I don't want to hear about somebody's dreams and how we should change our lives because they had some kind of dream. I want to hear, and the media doesn't do that. They just make it up. They just make up a story. And then, of course, there's people all over. So it's a matter of being discerning. Be an adult. Be discerning. And don't believe everything that you see. Because the current situation, not with just the beer bug and the fallout from that, but all this discussion about freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and being able to express yourselves as long as you're not breaking the law. You're not, because there's people, all sorts of people intimidate people online, give them death threats and nothing happens to them. But if I want to discuss some of the things that I think, I have to be careful about what it is that I'm talking about and how I say it. How many times did I edit myself today? Yeah, just today. Right here, on here, in the last 40 minutes. This represents a clear and present danger to the Constitution and to the United States. And, of course, that means the people. The United States of America are the people. I just tried to breathe some snot. So there it is. And I'm going to have some of my friends going, oh, she's a Trump supporter. Listen to her. Then I'm going to have other ones going, oh, she's liberal. Listen to her. She's one of those alt left liberals. No. Why? Why can't somebody just have their own thoughts? So, yeah. You can't be moderate anymore. And I'm going further and further not being so moderate. I'm a classic liberal. And that doesn't mean that it's the same liberal that you see on TV nowadays. I'm not a Pelosi. I'm certainly not an AOC. And I'm certainly not whatever they call themselves over at CNN, MSNBC, and those others. There's too many of them to talk about. All owned by the same companies. A little less than 10. So, yeah, I quit watching the news much. I did start watching the news briefly through all this stuff as they were trying to social distance. They were all really, really, really out of their element. It was great. Fantastic. And entertaining to watch. See? Now I know why that Tiger show is big. Because the media's been making an ass out of themselves for many years, where this guy's all kind of whole brand new thing of jackassery. Okay. Well, I got a couple people on here. But I'm going to have to go ahead and log out with my Blue Devil. Yep. Yeah. And who knows? Everything I might have told you just was a lie. You're going to have to go and do your own research. But I think I'm pretty right about the alcohol cleaning those masks. Because that just completely makes total sense. These masks. So, you have a great weekend, the rest of the weekend. And tomorrow's Monday. And we don't have to go back to work. Oh, well. Okay. I wouldn't have to go back to work anyway since I only work Tuesday through Saturday. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to trying to get that thing printed so that my friend who is not having a mask available to her at a, cesspool of, the hospital. At least they do probably clean up their stuff pretty good. I'm going to go and do that. Go work on that. Oh, yeah. I'll show you my other mask, the plague mask, tomorrow. I'm still having problems with it. Okay. We'll see you later. Talk to you tomorrow. 4 o'clock when you're bored.